What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for another review of Kandi and the Gang Season 1, Episode 2. So, we are introduced to Patrick, which is Aunt Bertha's grandson, and he is also the parking lot manager of OLG. Now, when they show the parking lot of OLG, I was like, what is he managing exactly? I guess it gets so crowded with customers because this is like, a tourist attraction. So I guess he has to somehow keep all the cars organized in some kind of way. But whatever they're paying him is probably not enough because looking at the space of the parking lot and knowing the number of customers that come to OLG, especially like over the weekend, I'm pretty sure his hands are full. He calls himself a retired Casanova and he's dating a young lady by the name of Safari, and they've been dating for about 15 months. Safari is absolutely gorgeous. I don't think she was seen in this episode other than through pictures. We also meet Melvin, who I think is roommates with Patrick. Melvin is 30 years old. He is the kitchen manager who started off as the dishwasher and worked his way up to kitchen manager. He is Kandi's cousin, and I remember Kandi saying that she thought that Todd was too hard on him. I don't remember why she said that because some segments of the episode it was really hard for me to focus on. So I do remember them saying that even though he started off as the dishwasher, he ended up going to culinary school, and I think he got, trained for culinary. And I also remember he was cooking in the kitchen. I think who came over? Was it Aunt Bertha who came over? I think Aunt Bertha's is his grandmother. I'm not sure. So Aunt Bertha came over and they were showing Kandi through FaceTime all the food that he had cooked. He had cooked baked chicken, mac and cheese, all kinds of stuff. And he was telling Kandi, isn't my cooking good, or isn't my food really good, or something like that. And Todd was in the background and Todd was like, it's all right. And I didn't know if Todd was joking or what, but Melvin looked like he was a little bit offended by that. And if Todd wasn't joking, then that was really uncalled for, Todd. That was extremely rude for you to say that because you hired him. So his cooking must be good enough for your restaurant. So moving on, Patrick and Melvin. Okay, I already said they're roommates. Okay, moving on from that. Brandon and Dominique. So they're having their date. I think this is their first date. She said that she never thought she would ever date a Virgo, and then he says that all he's ever dated were Virgos. I don't know what these signs really mean to people. They're not that significant to me, but that was the conversation that they were having. And Dominique's goal is to one day dance for Beyonce. You better get on it, girl, because Beyonce is probably going to be retiring in a few years. So Shandricka goes to Torrance house. Now, Torrin used to work for OLG. He was their event planner, and he also was like working management as well. And so because he was doing the management, he was also doing the event planning. He was spread way too thin. He ended up quitting. And the way that he quit was really unprofessional because he just ended up not coming to work one day. And he blamed it on COVID. But then they saw on social media that he was out and about partying with no mask on, living his life. And so obviously, it had nothing to do with COVID, but he quit in a really unprofessional way. So, he should thank the stars above that they're even giving him an opportunity to even come back. So Dominique comes over, Shandricka's there at Torrance house, and they just start talking about OLG. Now, Torrance said he didn't even get paid for doing the reunion party from last week's episode. And I was like, what? Kandi, come on. Kandi, you are just really coming off. You and Todd are just coming off as super, super cheap. This look is not cute. I don't know what the hell you think is going on, Kandi, but that's just not cute. You didn't even pay this man to plan your party. And I'm pretty sure Kandi probably told him, well, you're going to be on TV, so that should be a lot of exposure for you, and that should be enough. So during the Friday Night Lives, okay, so Torin talked to Don Juan about coming back, and Shandricka said who you really need to talk to is Philip if you really want to come back. I'm not sure why he would have to talk to Philip because he doesn't really, I don't think he does a hiring. I think everything is up to Kandi and Todd, and to some extent Don Juan. Moving on. So Melvin he's at Aunt Bertha's house. So Kim is Aunt Bertha's daughter and Kandi's cousin. Kim used to work for the restaurant back in the day, but she ended up quitting because she claimed that Mama Joyce cussed her out. So this whole family beef between Kim, cousin Kim, and the aunts, I could not really understand what actually started it. So there's a lot of talk about how Aunt Joyce cussed out Kim. Kandi suggested that everyone should get together and have a meeting and talk it out and try to make amends. Aunt Joyce said, or Mama Joyce said, that she was upset when Kim left because she said she wanted to take everybody else with her. She was asking the other employees as she was walking out of the restaurant, who's coming with me? And that really got Mama Joyce upset. Okay, why the woman wanted, she said Kim wanted to leave because Mama Joyce cussed her out, but what really started the situation between Kim and Mama Joyce for Mama Joyce to even get to the point where she was cussing her out? Anyways, so moving on from that, Brian shows up for his first day of work. Now they have upgraded OLG slightly because they have a scan code at the register where the customer can scan their phone and then get the menu directly on their phone. That is super high tech for OLG, so I'm really proud of them for at least doing that. And it probably saves them a ton of money with menus. So Brian tells us that coming back to OLG is like coming back to a very dysfunctional family, but it's still family nonetheless. Philip wants to keep Brian focused because Philip and Brian, they're talking. I don't know if Brian is giving him a tour of the restaurant or what he's doing, but they're having a moment together and he's trying to keep Brian focused. And you can tell that Philip, I don't know exactly what Philip's deal is, but this man has a huge chip on his shoulder. And the way he talks to everybody, it's just, I mean, we're just going to have to take Philip, he just has to be like there for entertainment because there's no way in the world this man is really like this in person. I mean, just constantly serious, constantly uptight, constantly rude as hell to everybody. There is just no way that this is how this man is in real life. So he wants to keep Brian focused because Brian's mind tends to wander. And Brian said, Philip had heard that Brian, when he worked there before, he basically did whatever he wanted to do. Nobody could really control him or manage him. He just, did whatever he wanted. And Philip is going to make sure that that's not going to happen again. Then we also learned that Brian had a drinking problem and it got worse during COVID. And so he talks about that. He is a recovering alcoholic. And this is the reason why he's not working the bar, because he's trying to keep his sobriety together. We finally get to meet Philip's boyfriend. I didn't take down his name, but he's from Brazil. And yeah, they're a cute couple. They live together. Not much else to say about that. Then the staff all go out to eat. Everybody was there except for Melvin. And they're all sitting there. And when Brandon shows up, Shandricka rearranges everybody where they were sitting because she wanted Brandon to sit right next to Dominique. And Dominique really didn't like that too much because it was like blowing her cover, because she doesn't want anyone to really know that her and Brian are dating, because you're not supposed to date the people that you work with. So Dominique didn't like that too much. So Shandricka used to date Patrick, the parking lot attendant or the parking lot manager. She used to date Patrick, but that didn't work out. Now Shandricka is engaged to somebody that she met on Tinder, and they've been engaged now for 2 years. Then the crew starts gossiping about the management at OLG. They talk about how the food is not very consistent, and they always have to explain to the customers, like, especially the repeat customers, if they came on a Wednesday and they ordered something, why does it taste different on a Saturday when they ordered the same damn thing? That was hilarious. And so they talk about how that's crazy. And then they talked about the pay. Shandricka said that she's getting paid less than what they get paid at Family Dollar. At Family Dollar, she says they get paid $15 an hour, and she's only getting paid $12 an hour. And I thought she also said that she got paid less than minimum wage. She said the minimum wage in Georgia was $15 an hour, and she gets paid $12 an hour. But when I Googled that, the minimum wage in Georgia, I think, is $7.25, like it is everywhere else, except for California. California is the only state, I think, that has a $15 minimum wage. I don't know why she said that she got paid less than minimum wage if minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. And I think until recently, minimum wage in Georgia was like $5.15 an hour. So I don't know what she was talking about. But she did complain about not getting paid enough. So they have the family meeting or the family intervention. Cousin Kim is there, Mama Joyce is there, and there's other people there too in the family. And Kim accused Mama Joyce of telling her that that was the kitchen in the restaurant. Kim said something about Mama Joyce, that was her mother effing kitchen. And Mama Joyce completely denied it and said, I never would have said that was my mother effing kitchen, because that's not even my mother effing restaurant. I mean, the cuss words were just flying around. And Mama Joyce was like, I did not cuss you out that day. I was cussing, but I wasn't cussing you out. And then Kandi said that she didn't like it when Kim decided to do her walkout, and she was asking everybody at the restaurant, who's coming with me. Kandi said that she did not appreciate that at all, with her trying to take her staff out. So then Kim and Aunt Nora get into it. Okay, they start, I don't even know what they were arguing about. I have no idea. Aunt Nora, I think, was trying to defend Mama Joyce and said that it didn't happen the way Kim thought it happened. And Aunt Nora sees herself like as a neutral third party, so she has no reason to lie for anyone. So I guess she was saying, I'm telling you the truth. If I said it didn't happen, or vice versa. I don't know if she was saying something happened that didn't, or saying something that didn't happen that did. I have no idea, because it was hard for me to follow, because the whole situation, the whole scene was just so funny to me. I really didn't know exactly what the gist of the argument was. So Kim and Aunt Nora, they're going at it hard. They're almost coming to blows, because they both stood up. Kandi had to come in between them and keep them apart. And then after that, someone said the chicken's ready, or the food's ready, and everybody went to go eat. And I guess everybody forgot that they were even arguing, because, leave it to the food to bring everybody together. So then moving on from that, Patrick and Kandi, they're meeting at the restaurant. Well, they're at the restaurant, and then Patrick, the parking lot manager, he comes and he wanted to have a word with Kandi. And he was telling Kandi that he went out with the rest of the staff and they were all talking about OLG. And I was like, ain't this a snitch? Like, what the hell is he trying to do? Like, you went out with your friends, hanging out, everybody felt comfortable just to speak their mind, and then you come back and tell the boss what everybody said. So he tells Kandi that they were talking about you. They were saying that there's no consistency in your food, and they were talking about how you don't pay them enough. And Kandi was like, I don't pay them enough. Who said that? And so he said that it was Shandricka. And Kandi was like, Shandricka said that? Kandi, stop. You're not paying your staff enough. With as much money as you like to claim that you're making, and you want to portray yourself as a very successful, true enough, how much can you possibly pay a hostess? But your restaurant is not an ordinary restaurant. They have to deal with a lot. She's not dealing with like a regular crowd that you would see at the Olive Garden or something like that. This is like a tourist attraction. And so I don't know, maybe you're not paying them enough, or maybe you are, I have no idea. But once again, Kandi, you're looking cheap. So Torrin meets with Don Juan, and they talk about Torrin coming back. And so after they have their conversation, Don Juan tells Torrin to go check out his space that he's going to be doing his events in. So Torrin gets up, he goes to I don't know, like a little space attached to the restaurant. So he goes in there, and Philip is in there. So when Torrin comes in, he really didn't say much to Philip, and Philip, I guess, got offended by that, because it seems like Philip is super, super sensitive. So Philip was like, he said something like, well, aren't you going to say hi? And so Torrin said, oh, hi, I'm Torrin, blah, 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 as he's, measuring the tables and doing his job. And then Philip said, well, if you're going to talk to me, I would prefer that you come talk to me face to face. And so then Torin comes and sits down across from him, introduces himself, says who he is. He says, I used to work here before. I was the event planner, so on and so forth. And Philip, I don't remember what Philip said exactly. And then at some point, Torin says, well, I'm talking to you and I introduced myself to you, but who are you? And then Philip says something like, who I am and what I do is of no concern of yours because I'm not the one trying to get hired. And then Torin came back and said, well, I'm already hired. So who are you and what are your credentials? And I thought that was hilarious because Philip was doing the absolute most with the least. And I just don't understand where Kandi found this guy and who this guy thinks he is. But Philip is a bit much. That is my review. Thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far, I really do appreciate it. Please don't forget to rate the video, leave a comment, and most definitely subscribe.